Ira Epstein of Lynn & Associates with your Morning Flash Update for this Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2019, just after 9:10 a.m. Central Time. In the grain markets, you can see the corn is still under pressure. And by the way, folks, I've done a special video report on corn talking about monthly, weekly, daily charts, seasonal tendencies at this time of the year as to where this market goes. You might want to take a good hard look at it. Brings in a little bit what's going on with China and the U.S. and trade talks. Speaking of that, you notice the bids you're getting into bonds and notes, and that's because the Senate passed a resolution last night that has to go back to committee with the House, where they support the protesters in Hong Kong. And of course, at this point in the negotiations between the U.S. and China, anything that can throw the talks off, very concerning, and that certainly does it. And by the way, the Senate's was a much rougher bill, if you will, going at China than the House, so we'll see where the two end up. Speaking of that, in the energy markets, after a huge drop yesterday, the market is getting a little bit of a bounce. I don't know anything that's more than a relief bounce. At 9:30 this morning, we're going to get the EIA numbers. The API numbers were whoppingly bearish. So we'll see if they moderate that or if they say that that's how it is. Stock indices, not a surprise. The markets are rolling to the downside very slowly as we're listening to the impeachment inquiry. Ambassador Sondland is speaking as I'm doing this right now, so I'm not quite certain what he's saying. A mixed bag in the currency market. In the British pound, the debate last night between Mr. Corbyn and Mr. Johnson was pretty much a draw. I don't think it's going to move voters one way or the other. And in the polls, Mr. Johnson is still nicely ahead. And looking at the metal markets, you can see that we're still holding. I think that's the right word. And I always watch copper because if things are going to go really bad between the U.S. and China, you would think copper gets hit hard. It's not getting hit real hard. So these are the things you watch. You got to get through the noise of the market, and that pretty much is what I'm looking at. As for the morning's events, well, we're listening to Ambassador Sondland is the right name. This afternoon we get at 1 o'clock the FOMC minutes, and we'll see the debate that went on at the Fed. We happen to be looking here to see is the Fed saying, okay, the insurance cuts are in place. Let's just see how it goes through the economy, where trade goes, and so on. China's central bank lowered today its prime rate as a means to reduce company funding costs. Now remember, on Monday, they had lowered by 5 basis points the repo rate. So there's a general weakening going on here. President Putin of Russia came out today, and I use the word suggestive, but basically what he said is Russia is going its own way. It's producing more oil than it originally said it would. We knew this was coming. The oligarchs there are putting a lot of pressure on him, and the oil production is gradually flowing, and I think it's a sign that they're going their own way. Not huge production, not attacking OPEC, but enough's enough. They can't seem to support these levels. Canada's CPI during October up 0.3 on the month, and on a year-over-year basis, it rose 1.9%. That's in line with forecasts. Yesterday, Canada got hit by some terrible news on its manufacturing front, but we're all getting that. I mean, manufacturing is not going well anywhere. Japan last night unleashed a barrage of terrible economic news. Yet, if you look at the yen today, it's down, but not dramatically lower. So I'm finding that the market just seems to be watching what's going on in the U.S. at this point. I want to remind you about my grain report. So I did a video report, and I said I'm going to start doing more of these. I took 2 weeks off, and it's all right. I'm coming back on these. And I'm going to give you, on the corn market, price counts, what the seasonals are doing, where I think the harvest lows might come in, talk a little bit about U.S.-Chinese relationships, what it might mean for the corn one way or the other. Now, in each report, I don't focus on beans and wheat. I'll do one on each of them as time goes on. I'll do one on meal and oil, like I like oil down the road. But how do you get to view the report? Because it's all video. Go to our website, www.iraepstein.com, under the word research. You'll see it right there. Just hit Special Grain Report. It'll come out for you. You can also click up here. If you're watching me on YouTube, it'll take you right to that page that you need to go to as well. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.